on.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Deven Martin, and today I'm going to talk to you about what it's like to be a pastor's kid. But first, we're going to play a little game. I'm going to show you a picture of a famous person, and you're going to tell me if you think they're a pastor's kid or not. The Jonas Brothers.
Yes.
Okay. They are a pastor's kid.
Oh.
Their dad is actually an Assembly of God pastor, which that's what my parents are, so I'll explain that later. And then the next, Josh Abbott, he's a country singer.
No.
Yes.
Ah.
No, he's not. However, his brother is a pastor, and he is an Assembly of God pastor too. So, Katie
Yes.
Carey,
Oh, definitely not, yeah.
Yes.
she is actually
Oh, wow.
a pastor's wife. And Ryan Tedder, and he is a songwriter for Adele, for Maroon 5, and One Direction. He's written songs for a lot of people, as well,
No.
but he's part of One Republic.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, he is. He is a pastor. Justin Timberlake.
That body's not.
Sure.
That body's not. Yes.
No, he's not. But his grandpa is a pastor, so it's just one generation that he's not. Okay. So, one person out of the 15 sheets that I handed out said that they did not know a pastor's kid. So that tells me that y'all do have a background and prior knowledge, or at least already developed judgment on what pastor's kids are and who they are. So today I'm going to talk to you about the perspective of a pastor's kid, and then how it has personally changed my life, and how pastors' kids are affected because they are a pastor's kid. So our perspective. How other people view us, or at least how we feel other people view us, is we have to always be presentable. You know, our parents are always like, make sure you look good, make sure you smile, always look good. And we have to be presentable to the church, to the public, and all that. And then we are always expected to be the leader in the group, you know. If you're in your youth group, you're the one that does things, that steps forward, that handles situations. And we are always expected to know the right thing to do is. You know, it's like they expect us, like there is no room for mistakes, you know. You should know what to do. You were raised with the right rules. And how we view ourselves is we think we can do whatever we want, you know. If our dad's the pastor, we can do whatever we want throughout the church. We can go on stage, eat the communion snacks, whatever. He can't control us. And then we also have a bit of arrogance, not only religious arrogance, you know, we feel like, oh, we know more than you do, but also social, like in your youth group you feel like, you know, you're the best person out there. So yeah, that's kind of how our perspective is of ourselves and of other people. And this is my life here. The stars are people who are pastors. So this is me and my siblings here. These are my parents. My dad is a pastor. And my mom is a pastor's kid herself, because my grandpa is a pastor too. And so that's my family tree right there. And this is us. This is a picture taken a while back, but this is what I mean by presentable. Like very cookie cutter. You have to look good. All right. So for my life, here's basically like a chronological, like basic steps of what has happened. My father and my grandpa are both licensed in the Assemblies of God, and I grew up in a small town. So there weren't a lot of people, everyone knew everyone, but it was also an old people church. So old people, not a lot of kids, you know. So that's what I was raised around. Old people, they like it their way, they're judgmental, and you know, you have to stick to the traditional church values. So I was raised up with the traditional church values. And we have made a lot of sacrifices. That's actually why we moved down here, because 5 years ago, my dad felt like God was calling us to move away from the small town. So we did move, and we came along this family. It was a mother and a daughter the mom was a drug addict, she was bulimic, and she was demon-possessed. And the daughter, she had been abused and stuff, and she was through foster care. And they came to our church, so the daughter, while the mother was away in a teen challenge, you know, in recovery and stuff for the drugs and stuff, her daughter lived with us for a while. And so we have had to make like sacrifices, like we help other people out and, you know, deal with all those other things. So those are like the facts. And then emotionally in my life, we've had to deal with pains of the church. We all know no one's perfect, so including people in the church. So the church does, you know, make mistakes. It has hurt my family. And as I said, we have had to make sacrifices. Ministry, it's not a very wealthy career, you know. So it does come with low income, and with helping others, that takes away a lot of time, a lot of effort. And then in moving, you know, it all takes an emotional toll on you more than you would expect. And then the effects. There were 6 out of 15 people that said, in the audience analysis, that said that pressures to be perfect was one of the major effects, and that is true. So I guess, you know, y'all do have a good understanding of what some pastors' kids do go through. And as I said, the cookie cutter, you have to be all good. You know, there are strict rules, and that results in rebellion a lot of times. And there are high expectations that people hold on pastors' kids, especially, you know, when you go to an old people church, they really expect you to be good. And being judged by people is one of the toughest things. It is hard to open up, you know, for a lot of pastors' kids. It's hard to be themselves because there's always going to be someone watching, and there's always going to be someone judging them, and that is one of the biggest fears of pastors' kids. But we also do have some good things. We have great support. You know, being a part of a pastor's home, it does give a good foundation, and the fact that you have 2 homes, not just your home, but the church, you know. You're there all the time, and we know all those people. It's good to have that support. And it does help us with our perspective on life. You know, a lot of people are always worried about holding expectations of careers from their parents, or holding expectations socially from their parents. But for us, we do have expectations, but our parents are more concerned about our religious pursuit, like on how our life is, not so much the things we do and the actions we make. So it does change our perspective on life. We understand what it means more as a whole. And I hope you got a good insight on what it's like to be a pastor's kid. And I hope that hearing about PK's perspective, my personal experience, and how PKs are affected will help you better understand what PKs go through on the daily. And as
Awesome. Excellent. Okay.
do you need these?
Oh, I don't need those.